Alright, I'm gonna tell a story that, to this day, very proud of. This happened almost, I think 3 years ago at one of my old jobs. So, I used to work at a place where you work outside. It's a big thing, I still love the people who worked there. I had a lot of fucking good memories there. This memory involves a unalived rodent. We're working out on one of the side of the properties, and it's a 10-acre property, so we're working on one half of it, and we see a dead rodent, me and a coworker. So I had this coworker I have no particularly fondness of, and his truck was kind of right next to it. Me being the absolute menace I was, I grabbed said rodent and put it on his truck. Now, looking back, it's kind of gross, but it was well deserved. He was the worst worker I've ever worked with in my entire life, second to maybe one person I worked with at Jack in the Box. He had a knack of just ruining stuff that would make the most sane person go insane. It was just terrible. We would do one thing, and I'm like, all right, we're good. Then no longer than 30 minutes later, I'm like, who did this? Who, what? And then they'll be like, well, you know who did it. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I've told my boss on multiple different occasions, I'm like, I can't work with him. He ruins everything he touches. Fast forward to towards the end of the day, because the dead rodent was there for like a good 4 hours. I was starting to feel bad. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it, put it right next to his truck. Ha ha ha. We have a good laugh about it. Not a big deal. Do that. I'm driving that way on one of our little golf carts. He says something that made me so upset that I would have punched him then and there. He drives by me, he stops me, he goes, hey, Mode, you know, what you did in South Property with the one truck, terrible job, terrible. Like, you would get fired immediately. You should be fired immediately. I went, what'd you just say? He's all like, yeah, I already talked to boss man. He's all like, he's gonna talk to you later. I go, all right, okay. Granted, the boss, he was on delivery because we had delivery trucks, and apparently one of the plants on there was a little messed up. And I know it wasn't my fault because I'm very particular about how stuff goes on the truck and doesn't go on the truck, to the point I've argued with my boss on multiple different occasions. So I know the plant on that truck is not something I put on there. My coworkers look at me. They go, Mode. I go, if I had the keys to his truck, I'm gonna put the rodent in there. I'm like, somebody get me my keys. And they were all like, no. I was like, give me the keys to his truck or somebody's gonna die, because I'm gonna put that rope on his seat. Fast forward the end of the day, I go home. I live on the property. So this is the first time I moved out. I lived on the property, so it's not like, oh, I'm 10-hour, like, it's not a long drive for me. I literally live on the property. I just go home. I get a text message saying, hey, Mode, do you know anything about a dead rodent on one of your coworkers' trucks? Me being me, I go, no, I know nothing. And he goes, oh, okay, we'll talk in the morning. And I go, fuck. And I go there and I go, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought it was a gopher. Whatever. He goes, all right, that's disgusting, first of all, and you're getting a write-up. I'm like, all right, this is not my first write-up. I know the rodeo. I'm like, okay, well, he was like, we'll handle it at the end of the workday. You're gonna have to apologize to him. I'm like, me, what? I'm like, he also should apologize to me for saying that the truck was messed up because of me. Like, how are you gonna, why is he even saying that? I'm like, he's the worst worker here. And I'm like, I get it. It's gross, disgusting, but still, there should be apologies both ways. I'm like, it's not just me doing everything here. Everybody else would have done it. People stopped me from putting it in his truck. He's like, if you would have put it in his truck, he's like, I probably would have fired you. I'm like, I would happily take that fucking firing, because there ain't no way in hell I'm gonna allow that disrespect. So we go through it. I go through the whole day. I end up pulling him aside during lunchtime, apologize. He goes, "Oh, okay. It was just really gross." I'm like, "Yeah, it was wrong of me, whatever." Go to the end of the day. I sit in the office. My boss does the write-up. He goes, "Honestly, if I could, I would dock a little bit of your pay, but I legally can't." And this is leading to more stories about towards the end of my time working there. But I was just like, okay, whatever. So I go, as I'm making my way back to the house, his son stops me. He goes, "Mode." I go, "What?" He goes, "He called my dad crying." Crying. I'm like, what do you mean crying? He goes, "He was in the car with me on speakerphone, crying over the phone about this dead rodent on his truck." I'm like, "No way." I was like, "You're lying." He goes, "Look." And he had screenshotted and sent himself some text messages, and it was horrific. The sight. There was maggots coming out of it, everything. And I started hysterically laughing. I took back everything. I'm like, this is too funny for me not to apologize for this man. I'm like, he is a grown man, older than me, and crying about a dead rat on his truck. Everybody was telling me, because there was trees. He's like, "Why didn't you just say the trees? Why didn't you say that?" I'm all like, "Look, because I'm growing up, I'm like, I should take credit for this. I'm not having a tree take credit for this. This was my crowning achievement at this place. I have never topped that, nor will I ever top that ever in my life again, about throwing a dead rat on my coworker's truck." It was my favorite memory, one of my favorite memories working there. It was great. Fuck that guy.